So I guess essentially what I'm saying is everything I just said earlier in this video, let's just forget about that and start from scratch. Hey everybody, my name's Alex, Geek of all trades, and today we're here to talk about vast AI. Kinda. We're really here to figure out what's using so much power in my fleet of vast servers. I think I have a pretty good idea of where the culprit is, but we're going to find out for ourselves today, and you're going to come along with me, so congratulations. Buckle up, bitches. Vast AI, if you're not aware of what that is, can provide your GPU compute power as well as your CPU and other resources on your server or workstation, desktop, laptop, whatever, as a service to run Dockerized workloads. AI in a box as a service. AIIABAAS. I think I just invented something. All right, let me show you what I got going on here. So this is my, what did I name this thing? Vast cost optimizations. I think I spelled that wrong. In all of my machines, except for one currently, each server has one GPU assigned to it. Part of that is because of the power restrictions that each of these workstations/servers has. Really, that's the biggest piece of it. And two, the primary boards that I'm using are not optimized or set up for multiple GPUs in parallel. We'll touch on that a little bit later. Starting off though, this is a list of the GPUs that I currently have that I'm using or planning to use in vast AI. I have 7 RTX 3090s and then a single 4090, which isn't on vast yet. So these are just kind of guesses. I've got 2 A4000s, and then I was planning on building an all 1660 Ti rig and putting it on vast. So the 1660s are not on there currently, and the 4090s are not on there currently. Next here, I've got my cost per hour or sale price per hour, what I have them listed as, and they're currently rented. Everywhere from the lowest I've got is 4 cents, and that's that 2060 12 gig, all the way up to my 4090, which will be listed at probably around 25 cents, maybe a little bit more. But I think conclusions in this video are going to help me understand and realize where I want to price my equipment. None of these machines are verified. So if you have a verified machine on vast, you can charge more, essentially is what it comes down to. So now is a good time to really optimize the way that I've got my server farm set up. One, to be the most cost efficient on power, so I don't get another surprise $1,300 power bill. I think looking at the outcomes of what I'm trying to discover here is going to help me realize where I want to go from here when it comes to providing servers for vast specifically, especially with Flux proof of useful work right around the corner. So all in, if I were to rent everything all at once, I would be charging $1.95 per hour, which comes out to $46.89, 90 cents per day, $328 per week, $1,400 per month. Down here, we can see I've got a fee that Vast has on you as a service provider. So hosting this, I make, $1,400 a month. Vast is going to take 25% of that as a platform fee. Okay, fine. I think it's a little bit high, but whatever. They don't really have much competition at the moment, so there's not really an incentive for them to lower that fee. That $1,400, if we take our 25% right off the top, brings it down to just under $1,100, $1,055. Sounds great, right? Let's unhide these columns that I've been hiding from you the whole time. This is our power cost, or roundabout power cost. And this is where I'm going to be doing some configurations later on in the video to confirm what the power consumption actually is. So these numbers are probably going to change. So for this exercise, I took the max wattage of the GPU listed in its, spec sheet. And then depending on the server or workstation that I have it in, get an idea of additional power consumption for motherboard, CPU, power supply inefficiency, all of those fun things. All in, we're looking at, including the 1660 Ti's, which I don't know if I'm going to include those, but we're looking at over 8,500 watts. It's a lot of fucking power. So the cost per day for that is $26.52. Figured that out because I've got my cost per kilowatt hour. this is the formula I use to figure out what that cost per day is. Of our $1,400, $1,406, $795 of that is power cost. So that's $800 on a power bill of really $1,000 after the 25% platform fee. So when it's all said and done, our profit here is $259.64. Now, keep in mind, I can write this off as an expense, right? Because I'm going to get taxed on this. Not financial and not tax advice, by the way. You should always consult your trusted tax advisor, not a guy on the internet. So if we look at it this way, where I just take my 3090s and my 4090 and my A4000s, that's it. This is my power cost per month, $403. And this is how much I'd be making around per month, $912. If we're just running the higher end cards here, we're actually looking at a more profitable month, $281, and it only costs $400 in power. Now we may be on to something. That being said, stick with me now. The vast fee is 25%, right? That's their platform fee. But in order to get paid out, you either use Stripe or PayPal or another payment processing system. I don't remember what it is offhand. I use PayPal because I've already got it set up. I don't have Stripe. I don't want to go through the process of doing that. That's another 3% fee. So really what we should be looking at here is taking this 25% up to 28%. That changes things a bit, doesn't it? So we're still using that same $400 in power, going back to the scenario where we're just using the higher end cards, and it takes our 281, I think it was 280 something down to 250, 254. And again, we're only making $650 after the fee. 657 minus 403 equals 254 and 23 cents. Is it worth it? I don't know. Probably not. Good night, guys. See you later. Just kidding. What I need to do now, I feel like, is I need to verify all these numbers because I'm just guessing. For me to get the most accurate depiction of the whole data center, the whole farm, I need to get accurate numbers, and right now these are not accurate. So let's go back to the data center, look around, and see how we can get a more accurate number of what we're really looking at here.
Here is my current vast farm of GPUs and servers and workstations and things. And I've got a couple more down here. There's one there, that's my 2060 rig. This is a 3080 rig I was having issues with that I just never got turned back on. So my original plan was to hook this guy up and just get an idea of power readings on each individual machine. But that's gonna take too long, and I think, as you know, I have no patience for that. So instead, we're gonna look at total power consumption and get an idea of what each machine is using by unplugging it. Grab some Post-it notes. We're gonna start with this one here. I think this is the 3060 Ti. We're going to unplug these one at a time and look at how much the power drops. Do a graceful shutdown. $4,700. So that was 250 watts. So let's say 250 watts. I'm not going to make you watch me do this on all of these machines, but there is one that I'm interested in seeing how much the power drops. Look at a PNY 3090 with a single CPU populated. That is fucking blowing some heat. Oh my gosh. Hold on. 130, 138, 140 just at the ground right in front of it. It's 120 on the surface of the shelf. I want to see what this one draws. Sorry, chump change. We're going to gracefully power you down now. Wow, that was 500 watts. So 4,300. So that was, 400 watts. About as most sciencey as it's going to get. I'm going to go through and do that for all of the rest of these machines, and we'll come back and take a look. I wonder what that one's going to be. Yeah, I'm going to power these down. We'll see you in a bit.
2 hours later.
Well, here we are, guys. Everything is turned off. We have gone completely dark, all of this. Before we go in and start talking about spreadsheets and looking at numbers, I want to show you this. We were at, what, 5,000-ish watts before? 283, 285, so under 300 watts. So really the only thing running on that now is this single Proxmox host, R730, and technically this UPS as well, so a little bit of inefficiency is probably going to cause some power consumption there, but I thought that was interesting to see how much actual power all of these bad boys pull. Let's go look at the spreadsheets.
Eventually.
Those are some interesting results. I've taken our Post-it notes that we made and input them into our spreadsheet here. Some interesting results. Let's dive into it and take a look. First off, just so there's no confusion, I'm just going to take this. We'll hide those columns. And this was the original that we were looking at. We're going to go ahead and just hide these columns. So I guess essentially what I'm saying is everything I just said earlier in this video, let's just forget about that and start from scratch. This isn't a 100% accurate representation for a couple of reasons. One, power usage fluctuates, right? And two, I kind of did some changing around of things throughout the month, this month and last month. It's not a correct representation of the power usage on my last bill, but this is going to give us an idea of where we can focus our energy and our hardwares to get the most out of what we're putting into it. So going through here, I looked at the machine that was installed. So like the Precision 7810, whether it had one processor or two populated, the type of card that's installed, 3090 PNY in a PowerEdge 7810 single proc was the most power efficient setup of the 3090s that I have. The least power efficient for the Win Edition on the A520 board, 550 watts. That's a lot. That's fucking insane. Anyway, what it comes down to is everything that I've got going on here on paper. If these were all rented 24/7 for the entire month, we're looking at $830 in sales, I guess you would look at it, or in rental costs. Then after our 28% Vast and PayPal fee, we're down to $597 for the month. Of that, $436 was power consumption. 400. So all of this work is what I'm getting at for $160. That's a lot of tinkering for not a lot of cheddar, don't you think? Now, again, I've got a couple of cards that are off, and I'm kind of like bare minimum here. I know I'm going to get rented at 12.5 cents on a 3090. I know that all day, no problem. If I were to bump my cards up to 15 cents, all the 3090s, and then put the 4090 on Vast as well, 35 cents, 34, 35 cents. Let's put that in. So let's duplicate this sheet. Take everything that's not a 3090. Go ahead and remove all that. Oh, and I'll keep the A4000s on there. If I were to go ahead and stretch those down, same thing here, right? And we'll do an average at say 450, just so that we're at round numbers and we've got some type of power consumption in here to look at. And then we bump all of this up to 0.15. What did we say? 0.34. So if we did 0.075, right? So we would be looking at that changes things quite a bit. We're making after fees almost $800 and we're still spending the same. We're spending less on power. All that for $400 a month. That's not bad. I mean, that's a lot better than 160. Equal this times 12. So it's $5,000. That would pay for all of the 3090s and the 4090. So by this time next year, if I have all of those on, they will have paid for themselves. But do I want to do that? I don't know. What do you think? Let me know. And how do you feel about my completely inaccurate way of depicting power costs and breaking out the data center optimization on the power side here? What do you think about that? I got into Vast to make some money until proof of useful work was ready so that I could provide the same compute resources but get paid in a crypto, get paid in Flux. Where do I go from here? I have a custom server case that arrived. I bought some custom, I want to say small form factor, but they're not really small form factor. They're Supermicro 1U size with Xeon Bronze processors on them. I'll be able to load them up with some ECC RAM that I've got that I'll pull from my existing server stack. I'm going to essentially try to Frankenstein 2 server motherboards into 1 server case. So if that's something that you guys want to see, make sure you hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel so that when it comes out, you can watch my fiasco and antics try to assemble this abomination. It's gonna be fun. Get your popcorn, bitches. If you made it this far in the video and you learned something today, hit that thumbs up button. I really appreciate it. And of course, thanks for watching.